Town Talk Radio Productions brings you this edition of the Town Talk Show, where you'll get information and insight on what's happening all across Terry County, including city, county and school news, civic events, people of interest, and much, much more. And now, here's Town Talk.
Good morning. Welcome to the Town Talk Show. I'm Danessa Churchill, and Kelsey's here with me. And we have Eric Martinez from the YMCA going to be talking about baseball and softball signups and probably some other stuff. But first, we're going to take a break and hear from some sponsors.
At Clinic Pharmacy, we monitor all your prescriptions so you don't have to. Why is that important? It's vital for your pharmacist to check for drug-to-drug interactions with every prescription you fill. And with more than 136,000 prescription drugs available in the United States, you need a caring, dedicated pharmacist to be sure that one prescription you're taking won't interact negatively with a new prescription. Caring for your health is what our professionals do best. That's Clinic Pharmacy, 901 Tahoka Road here in Brownfield, 637-7049.
When it comes to delicious food, great wine, and an inviting atmosphere, look no further than the Triple D. The Triple D offers not only unique food items on their menu, they also have an excellent assortment of your favorite wines to go along with your meal. Located in downtown Brownfield, the Triple D isn't just a restaurant, it's also a great place to enjoy a glass of wine while listening to some of the best in live entertainment. The Triple D is open Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and Friday evenings between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Check out their Facebook for daily lunch specials, as well as their live entertainment schedule. Call 637-0243 or just stop by their location at 519 West Main. The Triple D, your first stop for fun, food, and wine.
Welcome back to the Town Talk Show. I'm Danessa Churchill, and Kelsey Slaughter is here with me this morning, and we have Eric Martinez from the YMCA. We've been, during the break, talking about boot camp. They got boot camps going
boot camp is underway, that's right.
That's going pretty good from somebody that's
Depends who you talk to. Don't ask me.
But it's not like yell, get in your face boot camp. It's fun, all right? I mean, they make it fun. It's still hard, but you have to work.
That's not really my definition of fun. But she is very nice.
Yeah.
She doesn't yell. She talks very nice and calm and sweet. And
then she gets you to work.
Yeah. It's like, okay, and now we're going to do squats.
Get excited.
Are you smiling when she says that?
No. No, I'm not.
Just air squats, though. I mean, they're still hard.
No. We've done jumping squats.
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah.
Those hurt.
Yeah. So anyways.
How's Cody feeling?
We're not going to talk about all of my ailments.
We'll need a different show for that.
Yeah, that's another time. So, but y'all do have boot camps going on, and if you didn't sign up for that, it's too late. But I think will y'all have another round of those?
Oh yeah, we'll have more coming up, and she's already working on some specialty types of camps that target different areas and do different things as it warms up. She loves outdoor boot camps. She'll be indoors and she doesn't mind it, but she'd much rather get you in the elements and running the hills and then coming doing things like that.
Stay cold.
So that's kind of her MO. She's an outdoorsy type of person, but because of the winter, we're having to do these inside. So we've got multiple sites. We've secured a contract with the former Boys and Girls Club to allow us to use that facility for the mornings, and then we're using our old facility, the back weight room area, for the night ones, the Tuesday, Thursday. So they're going well, doing good.
Good. And then y'all started baseball and softball signups yesterday.
Yes, baseball and softball signups are underway, and there's a few changes this year that I think people will like. I hope that they will enjoy. One of the main things is there's always been this back and forth between 3-year-olds being able to play or not.
Right.
And so we've allowed it sometimes if you're coaching, sometimes not. Well, I went back and I looked at the rules, and Cal Ripken and Babe Ruth allow 3-year-olds. But we can also run those as what we call non-competitive leagues, which doesn't work for you, but most parents, non-competitive is okay. So when they're playing T-ball, Danessa's still keeping score, even though you're not supposed to, and outs and everything. Yeah. That run doesn't count. We got 3 outs earlier. She's that kind of person. So what we've done is we've now opened up a 3- and 4-year-old T-ball division for boys and girls. It is non-competitive. So it's just simply a learning tool. It gives them something to do. They won't have to play as many games, so they won't have a 10-game season. It'll be a little bit shorter. But they'll get out there and practice and get the hang of it and kind of get moving. So that's for 3- and 4-year-olds, which used to be up to 5. And now we've moved 5-year-olds out of T-ball. And if they're 5, they go ahead and go into what we call coach pitch. And that's baseball and softball. Softball has never had a coach pitch division.
Really?
So the girls would go from hitting off a tee at 5
To pitching.
to a 33-mile-an-hour fastball from a machine at 6. And it was
wow.
Some girls were able to get the hang of it, but it's a pretty
That's
tough transition. A steel ball sitting there to a 33-mile-an-hour fastball and a machine throwing it at you. It was a huge jump, and so I met with the softball board, and we decided to try coach pitch a try. And so for 5- and 6-year-olds in baseball, you still use the little soft, like you would in T-ball, but this time you're about 6 to 10 feet away, and you're throwing either underhand or overhand, and the kids are learning how to hit a moving target. But it's not coming super fast. And it's also a non-competitive league. In other words, everybody will bat before the inning's over and those kinds of things. But it's a little bit more moving towards the actual game because we will keep outs and then clear bases. And so the way that works is, let's say your first 3 batters get on and your next 3 batters strike out or they get put out, well, then you have to clear the bases, and then you get to continue to bat until all your kids have batted, but you clear the bases at that point. So it starts to teach them, hey, once you get 3 outs, you have to get off the base. Like, you don't get to keep running, and you have to start over. So there's a little more element of the game that comes into play, but we call it non-competitive because we're not keeping score. We're not going to have refs out there. It's just learning the game a little bit further along. And then things begin to get a little different, and so I'll break down softball for you first. 7- and 8-year-olds go straight to machine pitch. We call that 8U, and a 6-year-old can play. If you have a 6-year-old that just is ready for that, then you can go ahead and move them up because that's what it was in the past. But one of the issues was we'd have 10 teams usually in that division. It was really hard on one field to get 10 teams to play.
Right.
This will cut that down, and so we'll have probably 4 or 5 coach pitch teams and 4 or 5 machine pitch teams, which will be better. And then it goes to kid pitch, starting at 9 years old. So 10U is 9 and 10-year-olds, 12U 11 and 12, 14U 13, 14, and then 16U is 15 and 16-year-olds. Normally, what's had to happen in the past is starting with 12 to 16U, we've had to do some creative things because of our numbers. So if we have not enough 11 and 12-year-olds, but we have a lot of 14s, we'll have to combine them. And, a 12-year-old will have to be playing against, sometimes a freshman. But that's just part of the game. And at that level, they're pretty – if they don't really love the game, they're not playing at that point anyway. Or this year, if we have a lot of 15, 16-year-olds, we may combine them with the 14s and keep the 11 and 12s together. So it just kind of depends. What we want is for people to sign up no matter what. Come and sign up and know your kid's going to get to play. And then once we have our numbers, and then we'll get together after the tryout and decide how we split the leagues. So, we can't say for sure without knowing how many kids are there, but just know if you come and you sign up, we're going to find a spot. The only way that wouldn't happen is if in that older division, the kids that are in high school, if we just don't even have enough to make a team, then we'll probably, give a full refund and just go without that league. So that's how softball breaks down. Baseball, again, 3- and 4-year-old T-ball, 5 and 6 coach pitch, and then 7 and 8 is rookie, which in the past has been kids pitching 3 pitches and then coaches pitching 2. This year we're reverting back to the machine. We'll probably do an alternate every other year, so that way they get an experience of good quality pitches coming down the middle, and then maybe the next year they'll see from a kid and then a coach, and then we'll swap it back every other year so that you get to experience both.
I know when we played that league, it was difficult because we played kid pitch, but then when you go to All-Stars, it's machine. And it was a hard, and you would think it would be easier and we would kind of have the upper hand, but you really don't. It was hard.
Yeah, mainly because when a kid's pitching and even a coach, there's a lot of loft to the ball, and the machine's coming right down the middle every time.
Yeah.
And so there's advantages either way. The advantage of having kids start pitching at that age, they actually learn the mechanics. They learn where the arm goes. They learn the process of pitching, which makes them better for minor league. Right. Again, kind of like the girls. If you've never been on a mound before and all of a sudden they're like, oh, you get to pitch now, it's really hard for those kids because they have no idea what they're doing or how that looks or what it feels like. So this has developed arms. I think moving into minor leagues, I think our minor and major divisions have won state for 4 or 5 years in a row now. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're pitching our kids at 7. Not very much, 3 pitches per kid, but enough that they're getting the idea and the concept of release point and those kinds of things. So I think that's why we've decided to alternate. That way if you've got a child that starts at 7, they're going to get both.
Okay.
And then the next year, it'll swap. And so if you end up playing with us for 2 years, you get to experience both parts of that. So this year will be a machine pitch year, and we'll go with that all year, which will put the ball in play more, I think. It'll get them ready for postseason a little bit more. And then after that, 9 and 10 minor league and 11 and 12 major league. So it's not as many divisions in baseball because we don't cover the 13 through 16-year-olds right now. That is something that we're in discussion about, going ahead and bringing on that group as well. But for right now, just do 12-year-olds. So that's those are the divisions for each group.
Okay. And does each group, I know y'all did softball last year. This is your first year to do the baseball league, but does each league have a board that kind of helps you guys and suggests things and makes decisions?
Correct. I have a group of people that, and you would call them a board, that have been taking care of that program for years, and so they come on and they will meet before we set all these prices and everything, and then we'll meet during the season to talk about situations and what we want to do, jersey orders and all that good stuff. And then the same board that was doing baseball also covers that league, which is really, really good because softball is a whole different type of game than baseball, and they have obviously more divisions and to older kids. So it's nice to have both of them. I have a commissioner for each league. That is Queston Perry for softball and Ryan Ferreira.
I was waiting on that.
That was a good one. Ryan Ferreira, and both of them, Queston was the commissioner last year, so he knows that, and then Ryan has been the president for 2 years now. So not much is going to change. You're going to see the same quality that's been going in both those programs. And basically all we've done as the Y is brought in a few different things for them, and this will give us an opportunity to reach out to these kids in the future to play sports. The softball girls all got letters because they all played for us last year that said, hey, here are sign-ups. Come be a part. The baseball kids that we have this year will get the letter for baseball camp. It'll come in the mail, and we'll get to do a lot of those things to keep kids involved and going. So that makes it a lot easier for them. And they've really enjoyed the fact that we've started sign-ups and they haven't had to devote any time to that.
Yes.
Because sign-ups are every day, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. to 8:30 at night over at the Y on Lubbock Highway across from Stanley Ford. In the past, you'd have to pick a couple nights a week for 3 weeks and, go spend 4 hours at the Chamber or at Dairy Queen or whatever. Well, now, because it's all under one place, you can just go to the Y. I've got a table set up over there with applications already ready. You just go in, sit down, fill everything out. You can pay right there with a debit card or check or cash or whatever, and then you're done. Get you in the system, and then you move forward. So, yeah.
Well, this is also the first year that y'all have run them signups at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we come back, we'll find out how that's going to work as far as fields and everything like that. So stay with us.
Woo! Big Mac, Mac Jr., Grand Mac 2. That's 3 Mac sizes made just for you. So no matter where you might be at, there's a Big Mac for that. Big Mac for that. Lunchtime already. Today's extraordinary. Got rid of all that spam. Clear the paper jam. Juicy, cheesy, iconic Big Mac burger. Now in 3 sizes. Only at McDonald's for a limited time. Man, I'm loving it. At participating McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Brownfield ISD, providing opportunities for all students to excel, exhibiting success in academics, athletics, and band. Staying in front of technology using smartboards, iPads, and Google Books. Great facilities, including a state-of-the-art indoor practice field and training center. Uncover the opportunity. Brownfield ISD, committed to excellence.
We'll do a little bit.
Welcome back to the Town Talk Show. We've been talking about baseball and softball signups and kind of how things are going to be a little bit different this year. One thing we mentioned before the break was that y'all have never had softball and baseball signups at the same time. Mm-hmm. And that's how it is this year. You can either go in and sign up for baseball or softball or both. And so how is that going to work? How is it going to affect the gaming schedules and fields and all of that?
Well, it's going to be better. It is going to be different, and there is, some changes, and change is always difficult when you're used to the same thing all the time. But the way I look at it, when you can start both leagues at the same time, opening day will be the same for both, and closing ceremonies will be the same for both. It really opens up the door for other sports and parents to be able to say who have kids in both leagues. In the past, baseball would be done the first week of June, and softball would go through the first week of July, sometimes, or 2 or 3 weeks into June. So you may have your son that's done, and you're trying to plan your summer, but your daughter's still playing for another 2 weeks.
Well, and so for some families that do both, it was like every day almost they were either at a baseball field or a softball field, and that can be difficult.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do is, because we have them both, we can do all the signups the same. Tryouts are actually the same, and when you come to fill out your paperwork, something new this year is you get to actually take home with you when your signup is, what time, when opening day is, when closing ceremonies are. You don't know the games in between, but at least you get to take something home, and we're not trying to get a hold of you after the fact and say, oh, we forgot to tell you, your kid has tryouts, on such and such day. Now it's set in stone. You already know. And so, in baseball, on March 10th, which is the last day of late registration, you'll come. You can come to the tryout at 6:30 and go ahead and sign up. But then we'll draft teams right after that. So before spring break, on both leagues, teams will be picked, which is great because that gives you 3 weeks to prepare for the season, which is April 8th, opening day. Everybody will play that day. It'll be a ton of baseball, softball going on. And then I really enjoyed last year the alternating days. And one of the main reasons is because in softball, the older girls are in school athletics already.
Right. And
so they can't play on a Tuesday night because they have track. And so this gives us the opportunity to take those older divisions, and there will be, I'll just tell you right now, softball older girls will have some Saturday games. It's okay. You're done before lunch. It's just probably a couple doubleheaders, and it's only really the older girls. It's not the littler ones because they can get their stuff done during the week. But the fact that we have all 6 fields and we can make that schedule accordingly is going to make it better. So I can see earlier nights for baseball where, the last game starts at 8 o'clock and you're done by 9:15 instead of a game starting at 8:30, 8:45 because we'll utilize all 6 fields now. We have electricity to multiple fields for the machines. They all have the same distance for the mounds. We have extra mounds now. So I think parents will be happy that, hey, on baseball night, we're done and home at a decent time instead of having to be out there till 10 o'clock.
Right.
And you were mentioning earlier during the break about the possibility of maybe some travel, maybe not.
Yeah, and this is something that we always kind of have to deal with as the season comes along, mainly for girls, the older divisions. The boys, usually we've been blessed to have enough numbers that even with 3 or 4 teams, they can play each other enough times to get their 10-game minimum, which is required by Cal Ripken and Babe Ruth. You have to have 10 games on the schedule for competitive leagues. But on the girls' side, it would really be nice if we could separate 10U, 12U, 14U, 16U, and they have their own teams. But when that happens, sometimes you only have 2 teams, and so you can't play each other, 10 times. Mm-hmm. But we have great relationships with Lamesa, Leveland, Seagraves. They'll come in and play in our league sometimes. So once you're starting to get to 14U, really, and even 12U sometimes, you don't have the numbers that you used to have. Again, if you're not really into that sport, you kind of start moving towards the sports you really like around your teenage years anyway.
Right.
So let's just say we ended up with 2 teams in the 14U division. What we would do is try and keep them 14U, establish 2 teams. They would play each other at least 3 times. But then we may go to Leveland and do a doubleheader, and then they'll probably come to us and do a doubleheader. And then we'll go to Lamesa. So it would probably be 1 trip to each, which is fun for the girls, and it's different. And it gives them some different competition anyway. And you're at that level where, you're getting to play other towns around, which is good for them anyway. The little divisions, we don't have a problem because we have 5, 6 teams, and it's usually not an issue. But in softball, it has been, and so just know that if you have an older child that's playing softball, that there's a chance you may have to make a trip to Leveland one night to play a game or 2, and then on a different night to go to Lamesa.
But we're talking like within 30 minutes, not
Absolutely.
nothing like a couple hours.
Right. Yeah, it's not bad. And it's better for the girls to be able to stay 14U. What I was telling you earlier, the pitching distance changes. In baseball, you go to minors, it's the same distance as it is in majors. But in softball, at 9U or at 10U, it's 35 feet, and then it's 40 feet at 12U, and then it's 43 at 14U, which is what the high school girls pitch from. So there's a lot of changes there, and that's why if you go to the softball field, we've got 3 different sets of mounds that we can put in at any time because it depends on what league is playing on that particular field. So, those things make a difference, and that's the reason why I like to keep them separate. It's hard for an 11-year-old to pitch from 43 feet. We've done it. But it's better if they can move back just a little bit instead of that big jump. So, we'll just see how the numbers turn out, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left. Go ahead and give us sign-up information, tryout days, and you said opening day already, but go
Sure.
ahead and tell us that again.
Okay, so if you're interested in being involved in baseball or softball, you can sign up February 13th through March 3rd, so we're already in that process. Ages 3 to 12-year-old for baseball, 3 to 16 years old for softball. Come to the YMCA. And cost is $45 for Y members for non-competitive sports, $55 for non-members. And then all of our competitive ones, which is rookie to major and 10U through 16U, those are $65 for non-members and $55 for members. And these prices are exactly what they were last year, except if you're a member, you get a little break. We believe that if you're a member of the Y, you're already paying monthly to use our facilities. We want you to have a little bit of a break to play the sports that we're in. So, don't let anybody say, hey, prices have gone up, because they haven't. This is exactly what they've been, which I'm glad we're able to do that. So come on by. Late registration, remember, if you've got 3 weeks to get in and get this done, Danessa, so don't come to late registration because it'll cost you.
Like I did for basketball.
It'll cost you an
Lost my
extra.
discount.
That's right. It'll cost you an extra $10 if you register March 6th through March 10th. There's a $10 late fee. For people who come then, but you can still come sign up. Again, 8 a.m. to 8:30, and come be a part. The tryouts are the Friday and Saturday, the last week of school before spring break. So for machine pitch and 10U for softball, that'll be March 10th, 6:30 to 7:30 and 7:30 to 8:30. For baseball, that is rookie and minor leagues, again, 6:30 to 7:30 and 7:30 to 8:30. And then the bigger kids, the 12U to 16U softball is 9 a.m. to 10:30 on Saturday, and Major League 9 a.m. to 10 on Saturday, March the 11th. So the 10th and the 11th are tryouts. We'll pick the teams before spring break. Opening day is April 8th, and closing ceremonies will be June 8th, that last week of school.
Okay. And what's the address at the Y? Did you say that?
Yeah, 1601 Lubbock Highway, directly across the street from Stanley Ford Lincoln, kind of catty corner, the old Rain for Rent building. So come on out there. I've got.
The Rain for Rent building.
They're not anymore.
No. You're not in the Rain for Rent building.
No, across
Across
from the Rain for Rent building. And we have a sign up, the YMCA, right by the for sale sign that's there as well, because that's a temporary building for us, which, by the way, real quick, Jay Ferg was there this morning and got electricians in, and so they should get starting to work here in the next couple weeks.
On the old building.
On the old building, yeah,
Good.
so we can get back in there.
Good for you guys.
So that'll be exciting once that gets done. So come out and support baseball, softball, and be a part of those great programs.
Okay. Thanks for being on this morning. We appreciate the info, and you're going to leave that form with me so I don't have to pay the late fee. Thanks to our listeners for tuning in. Thanks to our sponsors for supporting the show, and we hope you have a great day. This was Danessa Churchill
And Kelsey Slaughter.
You've been listening to The Town Talk Show, a broadcast of Town Talk Radio Productions. If you would like to comment on our show or promote your civic or church event, or if you have an idea for an interesting story, give us a call at 806-637-0030 from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or you can drop us a line at info@towntalkradio.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.